This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 667 for August 3rd, 2020. Shades of Tolerable.
Just don't live with me.
Please put him out of his misery.
Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Hello, mate. How are you doing?
And the Nymph.
Hello.
Patreon.com.
A new Fable game has been announced. I have to rep.
Yeah, that's true. Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones or numbers get all the cool behind the scenes, early access, exclusive stuff that you can get over there, including every week's Outcast, the uncensored pre-show that we record specifically, exclusively for all the fantastic patrons. A whole bunch of patrons have joined in the last couple weeks. Thank you very much for joining. Apparently, the Resident Evil Challenge is really pushing you all to join and sign up because you like to see me suffer, and I don't blame you. So go
closer every day, dude.
That's right.
Every day.
Go get the behind-the-scenes early access audio for you. Help me pay for the show, and then get us closer to that streaming Resident Evil 7 goal, which would be the worst / the best /
quote unquote goal.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, Moonpeer, what have you been playing this past week?
I've only got 4 games to talk about this week.
Okay.
And 2 of them I'm going to talk about very, very briefly at the start here. Because it's not often we actually do this. He says, as he's pretty sure we've done this the past 3 weeks.
Okay.
2 of the games, obviously, I've been playing Everspace for Wii Roguelike.
Yep.
I don't think that's hit the primary feed yet.
I think that's this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go do yourself a favor if you like roguelikes. Go pick up this game. Give it a shot.
You should be playing it along with us. We've got some hot tips in weeks 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's a genuinely solid game.
Yes.
If obviously you want my more in-depth thoughts on that game, listen to Wii Roguelike.
Patreon.com/E1M1.
There we go. Early access to Wii Roguelike there, so you can already hear 3 weeks worth of content on that game if you want there.
That's right.
And Oberdin.
I put a lot of hours in Oberdin this week.
So did I. Let's get this out of the way.
Yeah.
This is our Game Club game.
Yes.
Now, we do the Game Club episodes once a month. Second Saturday of every month, I believe, is the rule.
Third
Game Club, or is it third?
Third, yeah.
Okay, so third Saturday of every month. Okay, yeah. ODNF used to be the second.
Yeah.
So, when I recorded it was the second, I should say.
Yes.
Normally with Game Club games, I eke it out. I do a little bit week 1,
yep.
A little bit of week 2, a little bit of week 3.
Slow progress.
Obviously.
You had a whole month.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Started the day usually that we announce it on, or the day we record our previous episode. I'm almost done with this game, and I've still got 3 weeks to go.
Yeah.
Go play Oberdin.
Yeah, Moon and I were sharing. I had a question about one of the fates. I could not figure it out, and Moon gave me the answer because I asked him explicitly for the answer. I'm at 36 out of 60 fates discovered, and you're sitting at
I think I'm at 45 or 46.
45. Yeah, so we're well past the halfway point. You're 3/4 of the way there. As Oberdin, 60 men and women boarded the Oberdin, and it came back empty. So
yep,
go figure out their fates.
Check out a video for this game and then go play it. Go into it as blind as you can. I am very disappointed to say that if I would have played this the year it came out, it would have been in the top half of my top 10 list.
100%.
Probably easily.
100%. Yep. It's real good. And it's genuinely not that long. I was explaining this to Musim yesterday before we were recording Pup, that I've been playing it a lot on my Switch in bed because it's a genuinely very relaxing game. There's really not a lot going on.
There's no threats. It's literally just solve some puzzles which are not slidey puzzles or anything like that. It's logic puzzles. Is if A plus B equals C, figure out what B means if you have A and C.
Yeah, because the all you're doing is saying who is this person, how did they die, and who killed them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. And this game has one of the best pieces of music in any video game in history, and it's the one where it flips to the back of the book, and it has that little musical stinger when it puts the 3 lines in the back of the book. It gets me every time. It's so good.
The music in this is understated to the best extreme, because you'll have a little bit of pirate underneath, like pirate horns underneath stuff, but it's never like taking over the scene or anything like that.
Go play Oberdin. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get in there now. You've still got 2 weeks to go before we actually record our episode on it.
Yeah.
I was flying through that game. But anyway, yes. The games I've actually been playing that I would normally talk about. Carrion.
Ah, right.
Oh boy, do I love this game. It's short. I get a feeling I'm very, very close to the end of it, because it does seem to be one of the shorter ends. I can't help but adore this game. Like, did you start it yet, Boston?
No, not yet.
This Xbox One is a problem.
I spent some time this week trying out a bunch of other Game Pass games, and found a problem. I talked about this on Discord. Found one problem I have with the PC Xbox app, and that is that they don't show which games have controller support. So a lot of my time this week is like firing up Neon Abyss and being like, oh, that doesn't have controller support. All right, moving on. Oh, here's another game. That doesn't have controller support either. All right, moving on. So it was a lot of like me trying and me revisiting some games that I've had problems with in the past that I'll get to.
Descenders. So one of those Descenders.
Carrion is on the very short list of like, here are a bunch of games that I installed from the past couple months, and I'm like knocking out the stuff that either I'm not interested in, like The Tourist was one of the most recently released games, and I installed it, and then I watched the trailer, and I was like, that's not going to be a game for me. So let's get.
I'm not going to lie. Like I go onto the game if I see it's in Game Pass. I scroll down in the store, I watch the trailer, and if it grabs me, great. If it doesn't, I don't even bother.
Yeah. So Carrion is installed on, I think it's installed just on my PC, and I haven't fired it up yet.
It's so good, dude.
Yeah.
Like, Ultima Servo in chat mentions that people have beaten it in one sitting. I could believe it.
Yeah.
It's genuinely a solid little experience, and honestly, I don't think Devolver would have got a lot of love for this if it wasn't for in-game pass. The quote-unquote free takes a lot of hesitations away for people playing the game. Just look at Descenders as a prime example of that, and how much that dev has talked about how great Game Pass has been for him.
Yep.
Like, I love this game. I love the movement. I love the horrific sounds it makes. I love the squishy, slurpy,
so many screams.
Of the whole thing.
Yep.
It moves so well, which is very important in a weird Metroidvania game, which I'm going to classify this thing as.
Right.
Like, it's genuinely just a joy to play, which is weird considering you are a trans-dimensional tentacle monster who is destroying a base.
Yeah.
But I'm not complaining. It's a good take my pain out on the video game kind of situation.
Right.
But yeah, Carrion is incredible. It's on Game Pass if you have Game Pass. Number one, you should have if you've listened to us talk about it enough.
I mean, it's, especially with xCloud coming later, or next month, I should say, it's literally a no-brainer. You just get it. I don't know. You either have a PC or you have an Xbox One, and if not, you have a mobile device. So next month you can just stream stuff.
Yep. I've heard a lot of people talk about the next generation of consoles and the quote-unquote value adds.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there has ever been a value add as good as Game Pass.
Yeah.
Like, PS Plus was great, and the PSN network was free when 360 had gold, and it wasn't free there. Then PlayStation obviously started their thing and brought PS Plus, which I think was a great value add because their game selection was great. I literally am ignoring games I have bought so I can play the new hotness, which I'm getting from Game Pass, what feels like every single week.
Well, a lot of times the Game Pass Twitter account will tweet out like, here's a new game's coming out this week. And it's like, cool, there's 4 of them, and I want to play all 4 of these. Because I've seen them for like the past couple months, and now they're essentially free on like 2 platforms.
And obviously
nuts.
they're not free, but it's the visibility of free. The optics of them being free is what makes it the big difference.
Well, and to be honest, most of us got in on that deal, and we have like Game Pass until 2027. So
2022.
Like, yeah, so like it's essentially free for quite a while. Yeah.
But yeah, Game Pass is great. Speaking of Game Pass, I also played Nier Automata, or Potato or Potato. I played that thing again.
Yeah.
I can't remember if... Okay, minor spoilers for a game that was Game of the Year like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I am now A2.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so I have my A ending, I have my B ending.
Yep.
I'm now on my C ending.
Okay.
I also found like 3 more endings in the process.
Yep.
I did the poison one because I was like, this game has multiple endings. Come on.
Right.
Like, there's a countdown to me dying. I'm going to leave myself standing right here and go make a drink.
Yep.
So I did. And I died. And I got another ending.
Yep.
I literally only just started as A2, so I'm currently fighting Gigantosaurus Rex in the desert.
Yep.
And I now have the pod who absolutely hates the pod, which is hilarious to me.
Yep.
And I think that's it so far. I don't really have a goal at the minute other than to go and slaughter a bunch of machines.
Yeah.
I went to the resistance camp because I was looking for something. Can't remember what I'm looking for. And I met Pascal as A2.
Yes.
Which was weird.
Yeah.
I'm sure that is going to be a very positive relationship going forwards, I swear.
Oh, I'm sure everyone will get along swimmingly.
Nothing could possibly go wrong in this situation.
Not at all.
This is 100% a blue sky game. The humans are alive and on the moon. Spoiler alert, no, they're not.
Right. Everyone's super happy. Everyone holds hands at the end, and they have a birthday party.
That's 100% what's going to happen.
Yep.
I still think that Nier is a average playing game.
Yeah.
Like, playing the game is okay. I may or may not have finished Dune, the audiobook, while playing this game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of long stretches of just like, yeah, you're going to be fighting through this village in the desert, so you're going to be here a while.
Or even just,
go kill this giant boss.
I was gonna say, or even just, hey, you're in this desert and there's nothing here for a while.
Yep.
Yep. In my case, it was go kill the giant boss in the desert. Oh no, you forgot to save. Back to A2, who's poisoned you go.
Oh, right. Yeah, as someone who's a big fan of that game in general, the combat is very much not the draw, I think, for most people.
And A2's Berserk mode is literally the most useless thing I've ever seen in a video game ever.
It's really weird. Yeah. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, Berserk, like, I'm going to take off the limiters, and you kind of don't do that much more damage.
No, and your health decreases at a shockingly fast rate.
Yeah. I feel like that's almost like Yoko Taro just being like, yeah, man, I'm going to give him like a super attack, and it's going to be super weak. Watch these idiots. Yeah. That sounds like something you'd do.
It's the Dragon Ball, like, hit me with your best shot, oh, you barely left a scratch kind of moments.
Right.
I mean, mechanically it's fine. The story is genuinely confusing and genuinely gripping at times.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the end where I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to destroy the planet Earth, or at least every single quote-unquote sentient being on it.
There's so much that happens in, like, playthroughs D and E that I I legitimately don't remember half of it, and I just remember enjoying the ride.
Mm-hmm. Like, I I got more information about the weird white mask face kid.
Mm-hmm.
I saw his giant heads in the desert for the first time this playthrough,
That's right. Right.
which is creepy.
Forgot about
by
that.
the way.
Yeah.
Like, giant clown-looking faces in the middle of the desert. Yeah, sure, that's not a source of nightmares for everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, well, no, I don't know how I feel about Nier. So far, it's great because it's a game I don't have to focus on, and I can listen to an audiobook of a book that I love.
Right.
Which, not gonna lie, 21 hours in a week, I'm done with the Dune audiobook.
Right. But
Time to move on to the next one.
I'm really happy that you're taking the ride with Nier, though, because I feel like that's largely the shared experience. It's like, even in the middle of Route C, Playthrough C, whatever you want to call it, it's sort of like, yeah, some stuff is coming together, but I still kind of have a lot more questions than answers. And I think as long as you're okay with that, I think you'll probably enjoy the ride. And I certainly did, but like, I feel like C is where stuff started to really come together.
Yeah. I mean, at the moment, my biggest complaint is you literally wasted 15 hours of my life.
Yeah.
I did not have to play the entire game again as A2.
Mm.
You literally take snapshots. You say, here's what A2 was doing there. Here's what A2 was doing there. Here's
Right.
what A2 was doing there. You can literally get that entire second playthrough done in less than an hour by showing you the moments where they diverged and did their separate things.
Yeah, that is one thing I had trouble with. I had a problem with especially Route B, because by the time you get to Route C, and it sort of like dumps you out in the world and says like, yeah, go kill some machines. It's like, again? Like, how many times am I gonna have to do this? Like, this is thankfully A2 plays a little bit differently, but like not significantly enough.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm torn on it right now.
Mhm.
The biggest issue I'm going to have with this is one of those games that was hyped up to the extreme.
Yep.
So it's got a lot to live up to.
Yeah.
Like, a lot. We'll see if it does. So far, I find the story interesting in a confusing Japanese anime kind of way.
Oh, yeah.
I'm wearing different outfits, like, as the different people. I have a cardboard pod, so that's great, I guess.
Right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Reminds me of Snake for some reason. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how I feel when it ends, but at the moment, I'm focusing on 2 games. I'm trying to get 2 games beat so I can move on to the next 2 games. And I'm doing my best to avoid everything to do with a game I'm pretty sure Boston's going to talk about this week, which is Early Access.
Yep.
And I'm trying to step away from all that stuff so as I can not get myself hype and then decide if I want to spend $45 on a game that's probably going to be the hottest garbage ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll talk about that in releases. A hotly anticipated title coming out this upcoming week.
Yeah, but that's all I've been playing, Mr. Noop.
Well, unlike Moon, I'm not in a big hurry to get through anything that I'm playing right now.
Yeah.
So, I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima again, and I am still just putzing around. I'm pretty sure I could just spend maybe 2 hours and beat the game, but I don't
Where's the fun in that, though? You got foxes to pet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of foxes, the Inari Shrines, I figured out, you go to Inari Shrines, which the foxes lead you to unlock charm slots. But once you've unlocked all the charm slots, the next time you go to Inari Shrine, you get a Inari charm. Mm-hmm. And what that charm does is, for every shrine that you find, it powers up that charm. And that charm increases health and weapon damage.
Yeah, that's the stuff.
So, because that was kind of my other thing. I was like, well, I wonder what's going to be the catch for continuing to find these shrines if I already have everything I want. So then they
like, is it just a trophy? Like, come on.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah,
that's a cool little find.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much just running around savoring the flavor. Different parts different parts of this big island look completely different from where you started at. Like the tea fields. That's a pretty nice area. There's like lily pads and stuff all over the place that you're just running through. I mean, it still looks great. I still really enjoy playing the game.
A great looking game.
Yeah. You guys should pick it up. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
I probably won't be able to get to it before Game of the Year, which is kind of a bummer, but I do want to play it this year.
Dude, why did you make me think of that? Why did you say those 4 words?
I wasn't going to say it, but that was why I want you guys to play it.
The looming specter in merely 4 months. Game of the Year!
Dude, it's August already.
Woo!
Yeah. Weird.
Oh, speaking of which, it's my wife's birthday on the 15th, so if you guys want to tweet her on the 15th with a message of happy birthday, that would be great.
Also, console
added to your calendar, so I have to stop reminding you when it's people's birthdays, please.
Also, new consoles don't have release dates or prices. Woo! Spooky.
Yeah, there's that too.
But yeah, so
Anyhow.
Next game that I've been playing, No Man's Sky. My son and I booted that up together, and the co-op missions work now.
Hey,
Yeah,
there we go.
We can get into the anomaly with no issues. We can get back out of it with no issues. So we knocked out 2 or 3 co-op missions between blowing up violent plants on a planet and blowing up pirates in space. I mean, it's fun. I have started my journey to the center of the universe. Because up until this point, I've spent the last, 50 hours of the game just building my base and the starter system that it put me in.
Yeah.
So I haven't done much exploring at all.
Yeah.
So I finally have it down for building the warp cells that I need so that I can keep hyper jumping, so I can keep going to other systems.
Right.
It's fun. It's just a lazy sit there, pop it on, listen to podcasts. Oh crap, something's not working right.
That's the stuff I had the most fun doing. Like, I never really liked building the bases or doing the storyline that came later. I just like hopping to a system and kind of landing on planets that look cool and be like, ooh, oh, cool, all right, let's look at one of these language stones. Oh, yeah, cool. All right, see you later. Pew, and then like go do another one.
Well, and they've added a new mission in either the last update or the one before that where you can do these abandoned frigate missions. Where
the spooky ones?
Yeah, where you pay some guy like 5 million credits, he gives you like coordinates, and all you have to do is just do your pulse drive thing, and then all of a sudden you're just there. I don't know what exactly you would do this for. I mean, the mission itself wasn't bad. It's just the fact that it costs you 5 million credits, and you don't get 5 million credits back from everything that you do in there.
Oh, okay.
So I don't have a whole lot of money in the game, so as soon as I hit 5 million, it's like, oh, let's check it out. Maybe I'll get more in return. No, I got back up to 2 million credits after that. But I did get about 600 nanites, which,
nice.
Depending on what version of the game you're playing, does different things. So,
right. The curse of No Man's Sky.
Yeah, I think right now the only thing you can do with the nanites is upgrade your ship and buy blueprints or technical prints. And that's it with them right now, I believe. I haven't really dove into it that much. But yeah, it's still fun. It seems a lot more stable. The only issues that we were kind of having was going into the Nexus, the multiplayer hub thing where everyone goes into. Every once in a while when you first land, the game would just hard lock.
Oh, weird.
And it's not that the console was hard locking, because I thought that's what had happened. No, I can go back and forth between the main menu of the console and back into the game. It's just there's so much going on at one time that it takes it a couple seconds. So if you just let it sit there for a moment, everything will catch up and it'll start running smoothly after that. It's just that initial going in here.
It's like there's 20 other people there, and the game's like, I just need to take a minute to sit down and process this.
Everyone's jumping around in places they shouldn't be, and the game's freaking out. So.
Right.
But yeah, besides that, though, I mean, the game didn't have any glitches, didn't have any issues. Pretty solid now. So
nice. Smooth sailing.
Yeah, if you've ever been interested in No Man's Sky, check it out.
It's on Game Pass.
I'll say, was it on Game Pass?
I just installed it on my PC, and it doesn't work nicely with Moonlighter. Or Moonlight, sorry.
Whatever.
Yeah.
5 steps in one direction, 2 steps in the other.
Yeah, like I'm
the Moonlight Skyway.
Yeah. Moonlight is sort of weird in general because it's like emulating the an NVIDIA shield, so like stuff just doesn't work right sometimes, and I can never hold it against it because it's kind of doing things that you're not supposed to do. So it's like, all right, yeah, No Man's Sky doesn't really. I know it works with controller, it just doesn't really work with this, and that's fine.
Yeah, it's just like your normal IT stuff. You're breaking 10 things to get one thing to work. Whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm breaking 10 things because I don't want to have a computer in my entertainment center. That would just make this whole thing a lot easier. It wouldn't be an issue.
I will also say too about the abandoned freighter missions. Make sure your inventory is cleared out before you take one of those, because you do get a bunch of items and stuff, and you don't have any way to empty out your inventory until you leave the mission.
Okay.
I don't know if it's one of those things where it's like, oh, you left the frigate, so your mission's done.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't want to test that because that seems to be how this game works sometimes.
Yeah.
So, the last game that I played this week is Star Ocean Last Hope.
Oh no.
Man, screw this game. I've hit that point where I've just dropped this game 3 or 4 other times.
And now you're remembering why?
Yes. I had that moment where I'm sitting there playing it. I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah, like, why am I doing this to myself?
And then I played it for another half hour, and I'm like, I don't recognize any of this. And I'm like, oh, I think I broke past my wall.
Right. I fought through it. The Dune audiobook helped me again.
So I'm going to spoil this game, and nobody should care because it's not that great of a game.
Right.
It all goes downhill once you hit Earth 2.
Okay.
Which is roughly...
Are we talking about the Flash again?
No. Which is roughly like 8 or 10 hours into the game.
Oh, God. Okay.
So what ends up happening is your ship, you're trying to go to one world, and all of a sudden your ship runs into a black hole. Science happens.
Whoops-a-doodle.
Yeah. You end up finding Earth. And as they scan it, they realize, no, this isn't our Earth. This is an Earth from 1957. So basically 150 years in the past.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, fine. I can get behind it. We're in space. Whenever you're in space, there's always time travel. Whatever.
Right. I've seen Doctor Who. Like, yeah. I know. Yeah.
So you get there. You land. You basically land on this thing that looks kind of like Area 51, but not really.
Okay.
Okay. Is Bender there? Is there a microwave? Is there blue and red particles meeting together to cause a time skip? Like,
who knows? So you have this big open field that you can wander in, and all that's there is what looks like an abandoned bar and a house. You go into the abandoned bar, story happens. The scientist who used to work at this place tells you, hey, I need you to go into the base. There's another alien in there. Get them, and then go back to space and leave.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I can get behind that. He gets you into the base. You do the whole, I captured these guys. Let's throw them in a cell, and then I'll break you guys out whenever I can.
Mm-hmm.
He breaks you out. You find the other person, which turns out to be a cat lady.
Oh, naturally.
Fine,
it is a JRPG, so...
Yeah, exactly. Fine. I can get behind that. That's not an issue. Her speech isn't horrible.
Oh, thank God.
She's scantily clad, which seems
it's a JRPG.
Yeah.
Well, no, I wouldn't even say it's a JRPG. That's just this game.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Come on, it's either a scantily clad cat lady or a dog smoking a cigar.
Yeah, that's right. Tales of Vesperia is great.
You find her, you have to fight a boss, which I hate bosses in this game because I've gotten past the point where you're only doing 1 point of damage now. Now you're doing some points of damage, but you can't stun the boss at all because you're feeding its rush gauge, which when its rush gauge is filled, it's immune to stunning. So every time I hit the stupid thing, its rush gauge goes from like 0 to 50, and then someone hits it again and it's at 100, so then it starts glowing. So then it's just constantly doing these area attacks. The balancing for these boss battles is just garbage.
But don't worry, it gets really great after 50 hours.
Jesus, I don't know. So I take out that boss. We get to another area inside this base, and we run into the person who runs this base.
Mhm.
And she gives you this whole long speech about how, she's only doing what she's doing to help humanity and blah, blah, blah. And we want to save the planet and all this stuff. And the energy that you have in your ship is clean energy and we want to harness it and blah, blah, blah. So the idiot, Edge, decides, all right, fine. I will give you basically our antimatter chamber from Star Trek.
Oh my god.
For you to do your experiments on for clean energy because we want to save Earth.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this coming because I'm like, wait, so you're giving them 150-year-old technology to someone in the 1950s,
Right.
and you're not expecting something to happen?
Right. Also,
Did they
like,
blow
don't
it
you
all
need
up?
that to leave?
Exactly. That was my other thing, because he's talking about, okay, we need to get back in space and see if we can find anything.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes straight from that to, okay, let me give you this main component.
Yeah, here's our engine.
Spacecraft. Yeah.
Does that help? Here's some space guns. I got a bunch of space bombs. Anyway, I started shooting.
I want to swear so bad on this podcast. So
Edge is so stupid. God.
He is. So he gives her that.
Hold on. I'll have no insulting of the rated R superstar. I apologize. It was a wrestling reference. We'll move on now.
So during this entire time, Raimi, who's the only tolerable character so far in this game, has been missing. And this person who's running the base has been like, oh yeah, no, she's in this room. You can go check her out. I just got done talking with her. She, let me know a bunch of stuff. And I'm already like, no, man, this is a trap.
Right.
And sure enough,
it's my girlfriend in Canada. You don't know her. It's fine.
Sure enough, this lady walks the party to this door, and it looks like an effing bunker holding cell. Like, she's not even trying to hide what she's doing.
Why are there bars on this door?
Yeah.
It's fine. It's just...
So, is this gaslighting or catfishing? Because it feels like one or the other.
Maybe both.
Once you hit a certain brand of stupidity, it's just your own damn fault.
Yeah. Also, I think I just remembered Edge's full name. I think his full name is Edge Maverick.
Yeah, it is.
This game is the worst.
The absolute
Does
worst.
he feel the need for speed?
Okay.
So, the whole party walks into this room. Raimi is in there. Guess what? Guess what, guys?
It's a trap.
It's a trap?
The door shuts behind them and locks.
And I'm sure Edge is like, excuse me, I think the door is stuck. Could you come back and help? And it's like, dude,
Almost
read the room,
word
man.
for word. What are you doing? Why are you shutting the doors? Like, because anyone with half an ounce of sense saw this coming 3 miles away, dude. You were the only one.
The whole party doesn't have a brain cell between them, and they're just like, excuse me, I think we got locked in here. This surely couldn't be a trap.
So that happens. The lady takes the engine core, shoves it into her mechanical device that looks like hot garbage to begin with.
It looks like something from Fallout 3.
Yeah, exactly. It's all rusted out and doesn't look like it. Yeah, whatever.
So it should just work.
Yeah, so your smart person in the group, the scientist, is like, hey, that's not going to work. This is going to start a chain reaction. We need to get out of here.
Right.
Bacchus, that's his name. The big giant cyberborg dude who's pretty tolerable too.
All right.
He can be annoying, but
the fact that you're referring to these characters as tolerable tells me exactly everything I need to know.
No one needs to
also,
play this
that was
game.
a great pronunciation on tolerable.
It's just shades of tolerable.
Yeah. So the scientist that helped you get into the base gets you out of the new jail cell that you put yourselves in and tells you to leave.
Like, for real this time.
Yeah, like, get out of here. Stuff's going down. Just leave. So everyone runs to the ship. The chain reaction happens. This, like, I don't know, purplish field shows up, and apparently if you fall into this field, you just dematerialize like that.
Okay.
They get in the ship. They try to get away, and guess what, guys? Guess what?
It doesn't work because the engine's gone.
Yes.
I'm turning the key and nothing's happening. What's going? It's just going click, 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 click.
So
this feels like a Planet of the Apes moment.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Like,
So the ship can power itself. It has, to put it in Star Trek references, it has impulse engines. It doesn't have warp engines.
Gotcha.
Because it's only on impulse, it can't get away from the gravitational pull of this anomaly that's happening. So
AKA it can't get away from their own stupidity.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the cat lady has I forget what her, Meryl? Something. It starts with an M.
Meryl?
I can't remember her name off the top of my head. Her pendant, for some reason, has the crystal that you need to power the engine. Oh God,
is it a necklace MacGuffin?
Yeah.
The old Chrono Trigger. I gotcha.
So they get their crystal into the engine, and it's obviously the most densest form of this crystal that anyone's never seen before, and blah, blah, blah.
Power.
Yeah, and the ship is able to get away from Earth 2 as it silently implodes, and Earth is just no more.
Wow. Good job, Edge. Edge Maverick.
At this point, Edge loses his mind and goes into this deep, whiny little bee depression, I want attention mode.
Oh no.
So it's just him whining more than he has ever whined before. And I'm
Kicking
only 10 hours
feet.
into this game. Yeah. Doesn't want to do anything anymore. Doesn't feel confident in himself.
I don't want to help because I'll just blow up another planet.
Exactly.
Oh, so he's Squall.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, no. Squall is dark and brooding.
I love Squall.
Yeah.
Edge is just an idiot.
Right. Squall got stuff done.
So it's at this point now where Edge is useless, like straight up. And Raimi has to take over as captain because, as she says, the captain is no longer mentally fit to be captain right now.
Have fun.
Yeah, so she takes over. And this game would get a 10 out of 10 from me if she had just booted his butt into an airlock and just never looked back.
Right.
Because
I'm the new captain.
All I've been doing since Earth 2 is just skipping cutscenes.
Yeah.
Which luckily this game lets you do.
Yeah.
And a cool thing, which I don't hardly ever see in JRPGs anymore, just because I don't skip them a whole lot, is it also gives you a it tells you, like, once you skip it, it'll be like, oh, okay, this is what happened in that cutscene.
Oh, like a story summary where it's they just argued on the ship for a while and we're back to Earth.
Yeah, exactly. So instead of watching a 15-minute cutscene, you just get like this paragraph that you can read and it lets you know what happened.
That's because it knows exactly what game it is.
Yeah, which makes the game a lot more tolerable.
Yeah.
And now I'm at the point where somehow Raimi now has stone sickness, which if anyone's ever played a Star Ocean game, this is something that pops up from time to time, where basically it is a sickness where your body slowly turns to stone until you are just a pillar of stone.
Okay, so the Game of Thrones thing. Okay, gotcha.
I want to cancel JRPGs.
Yeah. So I am...
Dude, don't worry. They did it to themselves like 5 years ago. They're only on the reset.
Yeah, that's true.
So I am at the point where I finally have the cure for her, because I am now in new territory of the game. I've never been this far in the game before. And my initial thought when the game told me that she has stone sickness was, I swear to God, if they kill Raimi, I am just breaking this disc, and this is it. I'm done. Screw this game. Luckily, that's not going to be the case so far. But yeah, Edge is the worst.
Yeah, he's just. It's exceptional to be one of the worst JRPG protagonists, and he really is.
Like, I've never wanted somebody to kill a main character so badly as I have in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I'm trying to think of, like, any time I've actually wanted a main character to die.
Play Star Ocean Last Hope.
Yeah.
Nope. 100%.
Like the first 10 minutes.
The hell out.
The first 10 minutes. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Feed that rage for a lifetime.
Oh, man.
But, yeah. So, that's where I'm at. I think I met the new character that I'm supposed to get, the lady with wings. Her name is Sarah.
Of course.
Check.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's the JRPG check mark, by the way.
Yep. I don't know why, but apparently if you're a magic caster in this game, you only talk in monotone and slow, because Sarah talks the same way that Limmel does. However,
God.
it is a lot less annoying than Limmel, and she also doesn't say K at the end of everything.
Ugh.
It's just
Check.
she sounds more like an airy ditz when she talks, which I don't like, but I can deal with it.
It's certainly not the worst.
Yeah.
Is this a class based thing, or is this an intended or voice acting based thing?
I don't know.
Haven't had that lore dump yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably in a scene that I skipped. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I had gotten to the point where I once I finished Earth 2 and I'm just like, screw this game. I went back and I looked at reviews for this game, and generally this game hits at about a 76%.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll still see a lot of people talking about, oh, this is such a great game and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just reading these like, what?
It's like, are we playing the same one? Did you get lost?
Have you never played a JRPG before? Have you never played a game before?
Right. Is this your first game?
Yeah. Master Chief in Halo 1 had way better acting than Edge.
Right.
Did he barely spoke in the first one?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He knew when to talk and he knew when to shut up.
That's right. That's right.
Oh my god, this game. So yeah. That's unfortunately all I've been playing.
All right, well, I'm going to move sort of quickly through my stuff because I've just been playing a lot of Obra Dinn. Stellaris, I finished up my Evil Assimilating Machines playthrough. I decided to go... Since I was this evil empire, I decided to go down the building a planet-cracking ship route, which sounded sufficiently evil.
What? Hold on.
Yeah.
You Star Trek 2009 this thing?
Yeah, it's really good. So basically, like, I built this planet-cracking ship, and because I'm a race of assimilating machines, instead of it destroying the planet, it gave me an option. I wish I remembered the exact term. I posted about it on Twitter. It was like, you went to go cyborgize a planet. It had like a cyborg like adjective, and it was really great. And basically, I flooded the planet with nanomachines, and the nanomachines turned the populace of that planet into machines, and then it was suddenly my homeworld.
Hold on.
And that was really satisfying.
You made a ship that makes Cybertrons.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Stellaris is really good. I didn't realize that there's a trophy for taking over the entire planet or the entire game by doing that, and I couldn't get that trophy on that playthrough because I had a couple of fallen kingdoms. Essentially, fallen kingdoms are fallen empires. Sorry, fallen empires are like really, really, really old empires that've been around for millennia, and you can't take over their planets. So I couldn't take over the entire solar system, so I didn't get that trophy, unfortunately, which I wasn't even going for. I didn't even know it was there. But yeah, that is, I have also played a little bit of the PC version just to see what the new, like the new patch is, because it's console's on like 2.2 and the PC is on 2.7. And I got up to the point where I could create a galactic federation, and I was then leading the Galactic Senate, and we were voting on accords, and I was like, okay, sure, yeah, let's just go deeper into this craziness of, yeah, here's a Galactic Senate that looked very much like the prequel Star Wars Galactic Senate, which was really great. Yeah, we're voting on stuff, and we're in recess, and
power!
Yeah, it was... Stellaris is really great. Next up, I tried Grounded, the Obsidian.
Yes, this is the game. Yep.
Yeah. I don't like it, but not because it's a bad game, but because I don't like these games. It is a first or third person multiplayer co-op hunting and crafting game.
I'm sorry, what was that? Please repeat all of those descriptors to my ears of these games that I love.
Yeah, you'll love it.
Dude, there's a reason I'm waiting until this comes out and release, because I know I'm in. It's like me saying to you, here's a JRPG where you build a city.
Yum, yum,
It's
yum,
in
yum,
early
yum, yum, yum.
access.
Yeah, it gives me life. Yeah,
I know
don't.
what I like.
I don't like unless it's Don't Starve. For some reason, that clicked with me. But like foraging and building games like this, they do not do it for me, and I get so frustrated out of the gate when it's like, you can't chop down this blade of grass because you don't have an axe. Here's the 4 steps you need to do to build the thing, to build the thing, to build the axe. And it's just like, I am immediately out. I do have to say, really great tutorial. I appreciate that when any early access game has a tutorial and then that it is good. Runs super well. I played it on PC. Ran without an issue. It looks really good. The scale, it looks really great. You do genuinely feel like you're in these little mud puddles in someone's backyard. It's a really cool idea. It is just 100% not for me. But it seems like it's in good space in early access. But it's not something I'll be going back to. Maybe when it's full release, if they sort of compress some of the build order stuff, but
Dude, they won't do that.
yeah,
The key is to find some people, maybe someone you do a podcast with,
sure,
who have people they play co-op games with,
uh-huh.
and then jump in on their game.
Yeah,
That's how you get past the beginning.
yeah. I'll maybe revisit it once it's out and fully done, and probably still on Game Pass, I would assume. But it seems really good, and it seems like a really good one of those, and that's not a genre I enjoy, so I'm not going to push through, especially in early access. If
It will be on Game Pass as well, because Microsoft owns Obsidian now, dude.
Yeah, so it's going to be. I mean, I think that they're probably going to try to Sea of Thieves it, where it's like, it's this free thing, and like, we'll get you in early access, and it'll be just on here forever, and we'll just keep adding to it, which is great. And it's just, I'll check it out later on, and I'll check back into it when it goes full release, but tapping out now. So I decided to get back into Descenders, because I figured, well, it didn't work for me on my Xbox One. It's just cursed. The game and I are cursed on that platform. There's nothing to it. So I installed it on my PC because it's like 2 gigs. It's virtually nothing. I was able to start a race. I was able to complete a race. So I'm way further than I was able to go
a race
before.
Or a run?
A single run, like at one single level. I got into a second level race node, whatever you want to call it, crashed into a tree, which is going to happen. My rider disappeared when I respawned. It was only a bike.
Awesome.
That would not, and the game would not let me control it.
You pushed your luck after that one race.
Right. The curse continued. I restarted my computer and fired it back up, and I was actually able to play Descenders and get to the boss jump, is the term.
Mm-hmm.
I completed the boss jump, where I jumped over a train, which was pretty cool. And it spit me back to that camp, the hub thing.
Yep.
And I called it a day there.
Okay.
Before your computer caught on fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Now that you've done that, you will have unlocked the second node. So now you need to go again and make it to the second node. Very much like, here is the basement, here is Mom's heart, here is so on and so forth.
I don't really have a lot of complaints about the game overall. I don't like the UI. I really wish they would have done a second pass on that, because like the font sort of stinks. Like the UI is kind of not that great. I know it's a super small team. I think it's their first game, if I remember.
I think so.
So a lot of that is excusable. A lot of that is just like, look, we didn't have the money or the time to put into the menu, because you don't see it a lot. I really don't like the nodes where you don't have a track. And it's just like, where did the exit go? And it's like, I don't know. I don't want to do this. Not great. Not my favorite. I got 2 of those in that first section. It's a cool game. I have it installed now that I know that it works. I feel like I'll go back to it at some point and it will really grab me. But I feel like I'm kind of not in the mood for that right now. Probably largely because we're playing Everspace, and that feels like it scratches a similar itch.
Yeah, dude, we play a different roguelike every 4 weeks, essentially. So
right. Yeah, so Descenders, now that it's not cursed, now that it's on a different platform, it's also on Game Pass on PC, which is great. I understand why it really clicked with you, Moon, and I feel like it's a game I would really like. I feel like I should also check out Lonely Mountains Downhill.
I have played a little bit of that. That is a super zen game. Like, if you want a downhill isometric, it's isometric, so it's from above,
right?
But it's just zen. Like, that's the whole thing.
That's the stuff.
It's just like cool music, cool look to it. Just slowly but surely
chilling
going down
out
these mountains. And then if you want to go for the more difficult stuff, then it becomes a nail this path as best as you can, find these shortcuts kind of thing.
Okay. Maybe I'll check that out too, see how that is.
Lonely Mountains is pretty solid as well.
Yeah. And lastly, I made a whole bunch of progress. My kid woke up super early this morning, so I said, I'm going to sit down and play Final Fantasy VII Remake. I knocked out the sewers, the train graveyard, and the big set piece after that. So I went through like 3 or 4 chapters this morning. The sewers was fine. The big set piece part was fine. Train graveyard was largely okay, but it did that thing that gets me a little frustrated in this game where I feel like I'm going from point A to point B and it never really lets me run. Like, I'm always climbing up or down something, or I'm walking slowly for some reason. It's like, I just let me get through this area. I'm solving a puzzle. Let me go.
There's obstacles there for the sake of there just being obstacles.
Right, and like, if you've played Final Fantasy VII, you know the big set piece after the train graveyard. If you haven't, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm in like the back third of the game at this point. Back half. And it's very much like, I can see the thing happening over here.
Yeah.
And there's like helicopters flying by and you're like intercepting radio calls. And Tifa's like, we have to go over there and do this thing. Like, let's go. I'm going to crawl down. I'm going to slowly move a train. All right, here's about 10 more puzzles. And it's like, why, God, why? Like, literally just Tifa is behind me like, go, go, go. Like clapping her hands like, let's go. And I'm just like, yeah, well, I got a bunch more cutscenes. I have a boss to fight. Like, we got plenty of stuff to do in here, Tifa. Don't cool.
Forget about the backtracking to collect the items as well.
Yeah, it's funny because, like, if you've played any JRPG, you can see how to get to so many of these items really easily, where it's like, look at this lit up hallway that it points you towards after a cutscene. Just turn right around. And it's like, there's materia and a piece of equipment and a whole bunch of potions and break a bunch of boxes. There you go.
Here's a random hallway on the map that doesn't seem to go anywhere. Bet you there's an item there.
Yeah, there's a Moogle medal down there. And I really like this game. I'm still really having a great time with it. I'm playing it on whatever the easiest difficulty is, so that's making battles really fun, which is kind of all I'm there for. And man, this game looks really good. It looks crazy good. And I'm just, now that I'm out of Wall Market and I'm like really making pretty significant progress, I'm sort of back to having a lot of fun here. So, hoping to wrap this up pretty soon. I know I still have quite a bit. I still have like the Shinra building to go through.
Yeah. The story will pick up and then it'll die off for like a couple minutes and then it'll pick right back up again. Yeah.
I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's I like a lot of the changes they're making to it, and I like a lot of the directions they're taking with the story overall. I know I haven't really hit like the big ending, especially meta commentary stuff that I'm really looking forward to. But I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. I'm back together with Barrett now, which is questionable. Which is it's that character is something. I'm curious to see how that character Barrett in the original 7 grew a lot over the course of the game and really took a lot of ownership in his role in Avalanche and the effects that had on the people that followed him. And I'm really curious to see how they handle some of that stuff going forward in this, because Barrett is a more fleshed out character, but that voice acting kind of takes away from that character at some points. So I'm curious to see how they're going to balance that going on. I hope they don't recast anybody in this game between games, because it would be really.
Come on, they had to nail those people down to like a 6-year, like 3-game deal. They had to do that.
Yeah, hopefully 3-game instead of 6-year. they said, like, they put out a press release the other day that was like, oh man, episode 2's development is going super smooth. And it's like, I don't believe you. Shut up. Yeah. Just tell me.
Mm-hmm.
We have words on a page.
Right, like, show me the cover art, give me a release date. That's all I want to see from you until episode 2 comes out. Like, I want to know the name, I want to know the cover art, and give me the release date. Until then, just work on it. Just shut up.
Did they ever update that cover art to say part 1?
Of course not.
No.
It's not a great. The assumption is going to be that this is Final Fantasy VII Remake, and the next one will be like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or like Revamp. Like, there'll be some something for the second one, and then the third one will be some other sort of title.
Did the Kingdom Hearts director make this?
No comment.
Wait, is that a yes?
Nomura works on pretty much everything Square puts out nowadays.
Yeah,
he's like their Kojima. Like, his fingerprint is kind of on everything.
I'm kind of concerned because you saying that makes me think that they're going to go Kingdom Hearts on this and just have
100%
ridiculously stupid names.
100%.
Final Fantasy VII Part 2, Dark Side of Earth, Meteor. Whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
2.9.
Yeah.
It's I feel like it's interesting playing through Remake, because this is where Nomura got his real. This was the start of his rise to fame within Square. He did the character designs. It switched from Amano from the first 6 games to Nomura here, and Nomura did some side stuff in some previous games, but like 7 was where it really. He was like, he took charge, and it's really interesting to see the beginnings of some of his style that in 10 was made so much fun of, where it's like, this lady's dress is made out of belts. This dude's got 400 zippers.
He's only got 1 buckle in this game, whereas he doesn't have 12.
Yeah, and it's like, it's interesting to see how they have modernized a lot of his designs. Like, thankfully they redesigned Tifa. She looks so much better in this game. But they've largely left a lot of the other characters alone, which is, I think, a pretty good choice. Like, Cloud looks largely the same.
Yeah.
And
Aerith
like,
too.
Yeah, Aerith looks largely the same. I think like the sleeves on her dress are a little bit different, but it's not as big as some of the other stuff.
An extra necklace.
Right.
No, seriously, that was like the extra character design. Was they just slightly modified her original clothing, and they added an extra necklace to her. That was it.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of those designs you don't really need to do much with. Like, here's a dude with a gun arm. Like,
these guys all got modern redesigns anyway in Advent Children. Yeah. I think the looks for them all for Advent Children were pretty rock solid as well.
It's true.
Yeah.
Like, Cloud's design in Advent Children is badass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they I feel like they did a time skip really nicely for that stuff. So, yeah, Remake is I'm not treading new ground here. Remake is pretty good. And I'm expecting people to forget about this game until game of the year, and people will be like, oh yeah, Final Fantasy VII Remake is really good, and it like pops up on a whole bunch of top 10 lists. Because it seems like it came and went pretty quick, because I think people burned through it pretty quickly.
Well, and then the world caught on fire right after, so...
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, that's all the games I've been playing this week, so let's take a break. Let's talk releases for the week of August 3rd, 2020. Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout comes out for PC and PS4. I never knew this had a subtitle on it. We're just going to be calling it Fall Guys. This is one of the two PS Plus free games this month. I have been Devolver Digital published, of course. I have been waiting for this game for a good long time because it's essentially a 75-player Takeshi's Castle.
Yep.
And it looks real good, and I cannot wait to start playing it. Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition comes out on PC. If this has it's the same engine, has the same specs as Death Stranding, so if you can run that, you can run this. You should go play it. I really liked it.
I really should play that at some point soon.
Yeah, I'm surprised at how many people think that this is like one of the best games of all time. I really don't think that, but I think it's a really solid game. It's a good, fun open world game.
It's fun, and there's a lot of chaos that just randomly happens that puts you in a really tight spot every once in a while.
Yeah, like
when you accidentally lean up against a Thunderjaw thinking that it's just a snow-covered rock.
Yep. Whoops.
Yeah.
It's gonna go bad. And the hottest joint this year, Fast and Furious Crossroads, comes out PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
Dude, I watched the gameplay trailer of this. It looks so bad.
It looks really bad. But it has three of the actors from the movie. It's got Letty, Dom, and Roman. Doing their real voices.
Dude, have you had the delivery on Roman though?
It's real bad.
It sounds like they are literally standing in front of a microphone, just being like half drunk.
Yep.
Just read this line.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm doing it for the family, fam. All right, that's good. Move on to the next one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I will probably be buying this because I have brainworms. Moving on to news stories. Halo Infinite multiplayer will be free. This also will support 120 frames per second on Xbox Series X. So here's the interesting thing. I think this happened after we recorded last week. 343 Industries head Chris Lee mentioned that Halo Infinite is a platform for the next 10 years of Halo. They're not talking about making another Halo game, which now makes the title Halo Infinite make a lot more sense. This is also sort of coupled with the thing that happened within the last couple of weeks of Microsoft delisting a 12-month purchase of Xbox Gold.
Mm-hmm.
You can no longer buy a year's worth of Xbox Live Gold. And the rumor that's been swirling for a while is that when the Series X comes out,
bye Gold.
Yeah, well, and all multiplayer on Series X is free, and the only thing you pay for would be for Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate, which would be great because having all of that stuff, having like 2 subscription paths right now is pretty confusing, and a new platform would be a great time to say like, yeah, you know,
technically they've got 3 right now. They've got Gold, Game Pass, and Game Pass Ultimate, which is both.
That's right. Yeah. So if you can just bring that down to Game Pass Ultimate, and that comes with Game Pass and xCloud, it seems like and just be like, hey, just buy the console and everything else is free. And here's a bunch of free games. Yeah, woo. You know, like it just, it feels like in 2020, if Gold isn't inherently bad, but I feel like for so many people that are buying the console, it's like, all right, and now we need to pay to go online. Like it feels like a real speed bump for a lot of people that doesn't really need to exist anymore.
Well, it's a big income that they'll be losing out on.
Mm-hmm.
But also, they're currently getting paid by Sony to use the Azure service for the Sony stuff. So
Yeah, but that's not the Xbox team. So
I know it's
yeah.
it's a different division, but
Yeah.
Microsoft have always like Xbox has always felt a lot closer to the Microsoft family than Sony Gaming has felt to the Sony family of movies or TVs.
Yeah, and you sort of for the last 2 generations, the Xbox division feels like it's done financially very well for them. Like historically, the 2 big moneymakers for Microsoft has always been Office and Server. And lately their Azure platform has been doing very well for them, which is why. And the only reason I clarify that is, Moon, I know that you know better, but so many people online, fanboys, are saying like, well, Sony can't get their online rights, so they're having Microsoft's Xbox do it. It's like, that's so far off from how that works that it's not, it doesn't, and people are saying like, the PSN will run on Xbox Live. It's like, that's also,
no, it won't.
Xbox Live runs on Azure, but you just look at the wiki and never mind. But yeah.
The grand total of involvement that Xbox had in that decision-making process was Spencer probably got a memo saying it was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
And Spencer probably hit his Twitter account and was like, this is a great day for the Microsoft family.
Exactly why the day they signed the contract, Spencer was on Twitter saying...
He had some hugging gif.
Yes.
Yeah. Sony and Microsoft laying down their swords on Azure, like some terrible Twitter gif. All right, let's move on to questions here. I copied over a question from Jamalkos from last week. Apologies for the long question in advance, he says. Have you ever had the feeling that you've outgrown gaming? I find myself staring at my game collection more than once for over a half an hour, even going as far as to insert the disc in the console, let install, start it, and immediately turn it off only to do the exercise again. Usually with the excuse that while it's installing, you can watch or do something else in the meantime. And that just becomes the activity for the evening instead of gaming. Basically, it doesn't seem I can muster the same amount of enthusiasm as when I was younger. I notice this very hard when I see my Final Fantasy VII Remake sitting on my shelf waiting for me to play it. This was my dream for years now, and now it's here, and I can't be bothered. I still enjoy reading about gaming, watching YouTube videos about it, or obviously hearing you guys talk about it. Oh, thanks. But when it actually gets to doing some gaming, I usually end up just not doing it.
All the time.
Yeah. Moon and I were actually talking before the show started that we have a lot of games that we want to play, and we just don't feel like playing anything right now.
And also, the thing to mention is, in this hell year of 2020, don't be so hard on yourself. There's a lot going on right now, pretty much every day, and all of it is terrible. And if you find that something you enjoy or something you used to enjoy isn't escapism or isn't making you happy anymore, that's fine. A Final Fantasy VII Remake is always going to work in your PS4, unless it's my PS4 and it just won't read discs anymore, then that's a separate problem. But like, I feel like this show has been on for almost 13 years, which is scary. And the number of times we've come on the show for like a month or two and just be like, I don't feel like, I went through this a couple of months ago where it's like, I don't feel like playing anything right now. I played a visual novel and some phone games. Yay. You know, it's like, I don't think you need to push yourself to do any of this. Plus, when you
also you don't need to justify it either.
Yeah.
You don't need to justify I have this collection, so I have to play it.
Right.
I struggle with that one particularly because I have this 8 terabyte hard drive that's full that I need to start clearing some space out.
Well, it's a sunk cost fallacy where it's like, well, here's these 48 games times $40 to $60. Oh, I should really get through this. And it's like, you don't have to. Plus, think about
Mhm.
when you start feeling the urge to play games again. Think of how cheap all these games are going to be. Let's scoop up all
Yep.
this stuff for like $10 a pop, especially after the new consoles come out.
Yeah. If I can armchair psychologist this as well for a second, we've known Jamal for a while.
Yeah.
A long while.
Yep.
A lot of our community are very intelligent people. Most of them are very intelligent people. And the problem is, not just this year, but like I'd say the past 4 or 5 years, we're all slowly but surely watching the world try and set itself on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Humans set the world on fire. I should probably
Right.
clarify that fact. And the problem becomes escapism gets harder. Fantasizing about being in a different place gets harder and harder as well. And sometimes it takes a kick to get you out of that. Like,
yeah.
sometimes, like, yeah, I want to play Mass Effect and I want to do this and I want to play these games. But all the while you're playing it in the back of your head, without you even possibly realizing it, is, holy crap, the world is a hellhole and my life is a mess.
You're
right now.
doom scrolling in your own mind. You can't
Exactly.
pull yourself out far enough to enjoy it. Yeah.
And sometimes you don't even realize you're doing it. Sometimes it just hits you in a depressive mood. I suffer from very serious seasonal affective disorder.
Mm-hmm.
So the second winter starts hitting around here, and winter hits where I live pretty hard,
Right.
I have to give myself like a month where it's just like, take a step back, don't try and force myself to do anything, because otherwise it's just going to kick me into a further depression than I'm already in because of seasonal affective disorder.
Yep.
Like,
there's this like low level static that's happening all the time, and you don't realize it's bothering you until like someone turns the static off, and you're like, oh, okay, that was really bothering me. And that's 2020.
yeah. And sometimes you just find something else, take a different angle. Like, whenever I get really bad, I go do woodwork in the basement, or I'll stick a TV show on and just plow through it. Like, I watched 8 episodes of The Umbrella Academy in a day, and then I haven't seen any more episodes since.
Right.
Like, sometimes you just need that kind of kick to do something different.
Yep.
And the most important thing, I do this a lot to myself. Don't tell yourself off for taking those days.
100%.
Don't feel that, as much as I hate to phrase it this way, American capitalistic thing of, if you're not working, you're wasting time.
Produce.
Right. Take the day.
Yeah.
Watch what you want to watch. Do what you want to do. Chill out, read a book, sunbathe, get hammered. Just don't drink and drive.
Right.
Do whatever it takes to give you that kind of day, and don't kick yourself for it, because that's the thing I struggle with the most.
Oh, 100%.
If I have a day of watching TV or something, I'm like, well, there's a wasted day. It wasn't wasted. I did something. I watched TV. I tried to decompress.
You had
still
fun.
In my head, it's a wasted day.
Right.
It's something I really struggle with.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is just not being able to decompress a lot of the ways that we're all used to.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of times, for me personally, I would go to the gun range for hours on end and just shoot targets. And that would kind of just be my Zen thing, where I would be out there for several hours and it would just be me out on the range, just focusing. And I'd come home, tear apart my equipment, field strip it, clean it, and that would be my day.
Right.
I haven't been able to go to a gun range in months because everything's closed. So I don't have that time alone out in the middle of nowhere, where it's just me focusing just on something and I don't have all the white noise happening around me. So that's a little stressful as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think the most important thing too, I agree. I agree with all of that, especially like, just don't beat yourself up. Like, games are still going to be good when you feel like coming back. It's not going to be like, yeah, well, 2020, let's year we put out video games and you got to turn them all in and destroy them. Like, it'll be fine. We all go through this too, especially as we're getting older too. It's sort of like we have less time to dedicate to it a lot of times, and watching a 25-minute TV show is a lot easier than figuring out a puzzle in a JRPG when it's has to be like, combine these colors to open the temple door. It's like, God, why? I don't want to do this. I want to watch Parks and Rec again.
Yeah.
More age equals more responsibilities, which can just be even if it's not real responsibilities, even if correct, it's not your responsibility for the idiots not wearing a mask outside, but hey, it's still a responsibility that you find on your head and sometimes can exhaust you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, moving on to our next question here from Jay Vengeance. On Monday, I made my first ever Kickstarter pledge for Ioden Chronicle 100 Heroes. If anyone hasn't heard about this, the Ease team is essentially...
Don't worry, keep reading. We'll get there.
Wait, it's not the Ease team, it's the Suikoden team. They're making a new one of those, just with a different name. My question is, what was your first crowdfunded pledge you made, if any? Stay hungry. Super hungry. Moonpeer, go ahead.
If you're listening to the audio version and not watching the video version, I'm currently pointing to my Binding of Isaac card game set, which was the...
Four Souls?
Yes, the Four Souls card game done by Isaac creator Ed McMillan. And that's the gold box edition, which my first one was a large one because I went all in on it. And I got the $200 edition down the side. You can't see it, but down the side between the two bookshelves behind me, I have the super soft mat, the additional cards, the foil cutouts.
Yep.
The figures in front of the box on the shelf behind me are the collectible figures from that section. And then the full plushies at the top, they were just addition add-ons because they're so ridiculously cute. So yeah, I kind of went all in for my one of two Kickstarters that I've taken part in. And the second one, spoiler alert, is...
Tapeworm.
Tapeworm.
Yeah.
The second one by the same guy.
I fired up my Kickstarter profile here and had to scroll down quite a while to find my first one.
Yeah, you and Musum are just as bad as each other.
Yeah, not lately because I don't have a paying job. My first one was EXP Magazine, which I think they only put out like the one issue that got kickstarted. But the one right after that was Double Fine Adventure, like that first big Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
I backed that. God, I backed a lot of stuff.
I haven't kickstarted anything.
I have
honestly, the only reason I went with that one is because it was already funded, and because Edmund has a habit of doing a lot with a little bit of budget.
Yeah.
So the fact that it was already funded, I was like, that's cool. I'm fine. I'll go with it. And then he delivered, so I was like, oh, he's already got another project that he would like to do, and it's a board game. And what's that? We have a chest downstairs full of board games? Like, really?
Yeah. Look what would look so good in there.
I'll go in.
Well, that was when Kickstarter first started getting major appeal. We had all those news stories about how people were basically just taking money and running.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was like, all right, I just kind of wrote it off as just a fad that people were, taking advantage of. But, I mean, there's plenty of positive stories that have been happening since that time, but I've just pretty much forgotten about it. Like, I don't keep up with Kickstarter news or anything like that. And every once in a while, like with the 100 Hero thing, I happened to see that on a website. I'm like, oh, that looks pretty cool. And then just immediately forgot about it after I read the articles.
And like a game like that, like it got funded in like 18 minutes. So it's like, I don't need to put in the money for it now because it's going to happen and it's going to meet all these stretch goals. I'll just put the money into it a couple years from now if it comes out. I'd rather put my money behind something like Tapeworm and the Binding of Isaac card game because I know the person, like Ed and his wife are making it and like fulfilling it. So I know it's specifically going to these two people that are working really hard to make this thing themselves. And even if it gets like extra funding, it's one of those things where it's like, I know it just gets them more money and I love all the stuff they make. So I'm happy to give them, like, I backed for $30. I'm happy to give them $30 more because I've played Binding of Isaac for about 3,000 hours. So at the very least, hey, here's $30 more.
We may or may not have done a show on this network that lasted for over a year.
It lasted for like 68 episodes or something. Like, I'm just happy to. It's like a tip jar where it's like I just want to give you. I can't buy more of your stuff, So I'll just give you more stuff.
Yeah,
That's actually I mentioned it on Twitter this week. Actually, that's how I use Patreon.
Yes.
I back 5 things on Patreon. 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 things.
Mm-hmm.
I literally only listen to one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the Bamfcast stuff because they've got the Doctor Who content.
Right.
And I love me some Doctor Who content.
BMFcast.com.
And I back Erica Moen because I think she's an incredible artist and the stuff she does is important.
Yeah.
Attitude Era podcast because those guys have put out years of content that is genuinely fantastic. So I listen to them a whole bunch too. And I can't remember the last one. Oh, us. Duh.
Hey, there you go.
It's us.
Patreon.com/E1M1.
I don't really need to listen to the Patreon content for us because, spoiler alert, I'm pretty sure I'm in all of it except for one.
I'm here for it, yeah.
I was gonna say, the closest I've come to kickstarting was just when I bought Pillars of Eternia because that was kickstarted into coming to Xbox.
Oh, right. That's right.
I think that might actually be the only Kickstarter game I've ever bought.
Yeah, well, there's a whole bunch that have gotten kickstarted, but they didn't get the huge press. Where it's like Hyper Light Drifter, like
Faster Than Light, Elite Dangerous.
Yeah, like
these are games that were kickstarted.
Oh,
yeah, Elite Dangerous got kickstarted. Yeah, it's like they got.
I just don't know, so it's like I bought this game.
And that's the cool part about Kickstarter, I feel, is like, oh, this game came out, or like got kickstarted so long ago, like Elite Dangerous, where it's like, we're bringing Elite back, and it's like, oh, okay, good luck. And then it's just,
everybody scoffed, and look at what
you're bringing Elite back. Okay, come on. Whoops. It was really good. Bill Saferd sends a question. Good afternoon, gents. Good afternoon. With the next generation of consoles hopefully right around the corner, I'm starting to get nostalgic about the launch of this current gen, remembering firing up my new console, messing around with new hardware, and experiencing the incredible gameplay and visuals of launch titles. Unfortunately, I missed a few titles and never got a chance to go back for them. What launch titles have you guys missed from this gen, and which next-gen titles are you looking most forward to? Hope you guys have a great show.
Any Sony launch title I missed. Period.
I gotta look these up.
All of them eventually. You don't have to play Knack
Infamous.
Known.
Yeah, Infamous.
Knack is all right. No, Infamous you should play.
Infamous
Knack
is
you
good.
Can skip.
Yeah.
Okay, question. Do I play Infamous or do I play Ghost of Tsushima? Same dev.
So
Tsushima.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want, but play Infamous.
Yeah.
And Ghost of Tsushima.
I played Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Boy, what else came out that was really good? Lego Marvel Superheroes? I didn't realize that was a launch title.
Assassin's Creed Unity was shockingly good.
That wasn't launched, though.
Are you sure?
Warframe was a PS4 launch title. Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Played a lot of Warframe.
Yeah,
that was the first game that I played on my PS4 because I was poor. I had enough to buy the console, and that was it. So I played Warframe.
There were not a lot of really important games for the PS4's launch. If we look at Xbox One, Dead Rising 3.
That was the game that I used to persuade my now wife.
Yes.
That the next gen of consoles made a difference, because when you start that game and you're coming down the highway and it's literally just a full highway full of zombies, I was like capturing a screenshot with the inbuilt screenshot function, saving that to my phone with my app, sending it to my now wife. This is the difference the new generation makes.
Forza 5, Killer Instinct, Power Star Golf, Rise Son of Rome. Just kidding.
I was going to say, don't forget about that one. Power Star Golf was a really good golf game.
Power Star Golf is really great.
And honestly, Rise is an underrated game.
It's fine.
It's dumb. It's stupid. It's a very generic button action platformer game, but it's a good game for if you just want to stab some fools in the face.
I feel like looking through the rest of that list, it's a lot of like Connect titles and sports titles and like stuff like Knack, where it's kind of a meme now because it was just like a tech demo.
Yeah.
Crimson Dragon isn't even a meme anymore.
Yeah, like that's how forgotten it is that it's come full circle. It's gotten forgotten. Yeah, not a lot of great launch stuff. Next gen, what titles are you guys looking most forward to? Bugs.
I can answer that pretty easily.
Well, go ahead.
Any game I currently have installed,
Right.
because
Backwards
they're going
compatibility.
to be doing,
Yeah.
they're going to be doing that whole thing as well, where even non-HDR games get HDR.
Yeah,
through
that's
their
true. I keep forgetting
weird
about
black
that.
magic.
That dark magic.
I'm
they're doing.
sorry, but I still haven't played Alien Isolation. You say?
Yeah.
Like, that game's not gorgeous enough as it is.
There you go. HDR it up. Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
What games am I looking forward to? Bug Snacks for sure.
Mm-hmm.
There was that rare game they just showed off, that like kind of cartoony forest exploration magic one they just showed off.
Begins with an E or something, I think.
Yeah, Everland or something like that. Something along those lines.
Everwild?
Maybe. Yeah, something. Endless Wild, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, that's right. The new Ratchet and Clank. Yeah,
Literally the only next gen game I'm looking forward to, because I haven't had a Ratchet and Clank game in way too long.
yeah. The PS
There was the Ratchet and Clank the movie, the game.
that was a pretty good game,
I
but
played that. Yeah.
not the best. All right, let's look at the PS5 launch titles here real quick. Oh, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Forgot about that.
Medium. I'm not going to lie. I think I can't wait for Medium, because
Yeah.
as much as that's a small studio, their games just keep getting better and better and better.
Ghostwire Tokyo is still kind of a question mark, but will probably be pretty
Yeah.
good. Oddworld Soulstorm.
I want to be excited for that, because the Oddworld has always had a place in my heart,
Mhm.
like very seriously had a place in my heart. But I don't know if I can do a puzzle platformer.
Yeah,
At
we'll have
this
to
point.
see how it goes. Resident Evil Village.
But I'm in for that.
It still has the worst title, but I'm interested in it. Returnal. Returnal.
Oh.
Sounds so dirty.
Yeah. Scorn.
Yeah.
That's not even a real game yet. That's not coming out for like a year and a half.
Yeah, and yeah, I barely even see what studio is attached to that. Nevertheless, what it is. Oh yeah, Miles Morales. I forgot about that one.
That'll be fun.
Dirt 5. I'm super pumped about Dirt 5 because it looks really good. Yakuza Like a Dragon over on Series X, because it's got delayed on PS5 for some reason, which is really confusing.
Call of the Sea.
Call of the Sea looks really good. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 should still be a launch title.
Dude. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I think every time I think about launch titles, I'm sort of like, yeah, I don't know, like there's one or two, and then I look at the launch list and it's like, yeah, there's kind of I feel like there's a lot of smaller indie titles this time around, as opposed to this current gen's launch, which was just sort of like, here's your standard big titles, and wasn't as indie focused, which is exciting for me. I wish Stray was coming out sooner, though. I want to play that game. T-Bomb Rocks asked our last question here of the episode. I've been enjoying the new Souls-like Hellpoint, but it breaks the cardinal sin of any action game. You can't remap the controls, hopefully fixed in an update. What are some games that you enjoyed but could have potentially loved with the right update?
Let me tell you about a little game called Everspace. And the genius that is Monkey Senior.
Yeah, listen to the first episode, and for Monkey's hot tip at the end of that episode that changed the whole series for us.
Uh-huh.
I feel like for me, recently, that was Minecraft Dungeons, where it's like, I feel like they could put out an update and like put like a little bit more in like the hub town, or like put one more vendor in there or something. And I feel like you kind of make a really great title out of that, but it's a little thin as it stands now.
Yeah, definitely needs some love, I would say.
Yeah.
Do Sea of Thieves? That game has gotten nothing but updates, and that thing has swollen to the point where there's so much going on right now. I'm terrified to jump back in.
What a crazy game. It's just like every time there's an update, it's like, yeah, now you can breathe fire and you can cast magic and now you have like a demon ship. And it's just like, oh, okay. All right, cool. That's sure. Like I was watching TennoCon the other day before we were recording Pup. And I was like, all right, TennoCon's going on. What does Warframe look like nowadays? And it's like, all right, cool. You're going to take your frame and you're going to offer it up to this giant tentacle god that you fed a bunch of materials into. And then it's going to turn your frame into like a demon frame after a couple of days. It's like, okay, so Warframe. Okay, cool.
And you go to the demon planet and you got the full exploration thing going on there.
Yep.
It's like,
riding a hoverboard was one of the last thing I watched before I tuned out. I was like, all right, cool. That's still Warframe. All right, good.
Yeah,
good to know you're still killing it over there. Oh yeah.
They know what the people want.
I was gonna say No Man's Sky, definitely.
There's a great one.
Yeah.
That is, even now they'll release a patch that'll break the game in some obscene way that apparently only myself and my son will run into, and then the next patch they fix it all.
That's true.
Right. But then they also add in like mech suits and underwater diving, and like it's like, okay, you guys are going nuts. All right.
There's a bunch of stuff in that game that they've added that I have no clue about because I don't feel like fishing through every patch note that they have available for this game.
And like they have some of the coolest patch notes on the planet where it's like this giant page with GIFs and screenshots and like those slidable screenshots I love where it's like before and after and you can slide back to back. It's like some of the coolest patch notes, but like I'm so not like a mile deep into that game. So they're like, cool mechs. And I was like, all right, cool. That sounds fun. That's great. The VR still works. All right, great.
Oh, I forgot to do the PSVR.
Yeah. See, now you gotta hop back in.
Yeah.
Go through a black hole in there in VR.
No.
Black holes look super dope in that game.
I haven't even come across one in
black holes.
This one yet, but I know enough they're pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk to me about neutron stars.
No.
Gotta take me out to dinner first.
I would be another good example too, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's changed a lot since when I picked it up, a year ago?
It has a tutorial now?
It had a tutorial before. It told you to do things, it just didn't tell you how to do things.
It has a good tutorial now.
We'll go with passable tutorial now.
A functional one. Yeah. All right, well, that's all of our questions for this week, which means we are at the end of the episode. You can find us at tvgp.tv. Ever to find and follow us on the right-hand side of the page, patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. As I talked about at the top of the show, early access, exclusive, all the cool stuff. You get to vote for game club stuff and punish us with other games. It's not your fault. It's the randomizer. And you can help me pay for the show because I realized we've never really had an outage. Thanks to our fantastic host, Libsyn, which is expensive. We haven't really had an outage on the show, which is great. Knock on wood. What else? Game Club is still going on right now. Talked as much as we could about Obra Dinn. You should go play that. It is much more relaxing than I was expecting it to be. Which is
considering the content, yes.
Yeah, it's really great. And we should be starting a brand new game. We should be starting Everspace this week on the public feed for We Rogue Like It, and Critical Misses Season 1 is still going on. So you should be watching the Fast Saga along with us. If you haven't listened to Critical Misses yet, the first short part of the episode is us before we've seen the movie. We take a short little break, and then we come back after we watch the movie. So you can watch along with us. You can hear all of our hilariously incorrect predictions, or as it somehow goes on for the first season, my strangely accurate predictions, which is really weird.
Helen Mirren will forever be my queen for that one moment.
That's right. And then you can go watch the movie and then enjoy afterwards with us. And I think that's it. So we'll see you all next week. Bye.
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 All right, hit me with those titles. Nymph.
Okay. I eked it out. I love the horrific sounds. Nier Automata.
I have a different title for that one. I have Nier Tomato / Potato.
Terra Lara Abel. When you were trying to what the hell? What were we talking?
Tolerable.
That's what it was.
Say.
What a weird
were we
word.
Even talking about? Yeah.
Star Ocean.
Yeah, and then cyberborgized a planet.
All right, Moon, what about you?
I got a lot, but a lot of these are too long.
Okay.
Okay, rapid fire time. Is one of those Descenders the new hotness, source of nightmares, go back to space and leave, dog smoking a cigar, great after 50 hours, here is our engine, wrestling reference, gaslighting or catfishing, tolerable, shades of tolerable, get away from their own stupidity, necklace MacGuffin, I want to cancel JRPGs, feed that rage for a decade.
Most of that was just all Star Ocean.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have Nier Tomato / Potato, savoring the flavor. It turns out to be a cat lady, shades of tolerable, and Squall got stuff done.
You only put that in there because it's a reference to Final Fantasy VIII, and you know it.
I did, and also it makes me laugh. I checked Shades of Tolerable because that showed up pretty much on all of our lists. Anything else jump out for anyone? This is a hard week. I feel like we got a lot of good stuff here, but no like clear winner.
I did also like the Nier Tomato or Tomato Potato.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I think the only problem with that one is how do you put that in the title? Because it was literally Automata, Tomato Pie, Potato Pie, Potato Pie. It was
Right.
It's the whole gambit.
How do you write that down?
Yeah.
It's impossible to write down.
That's a good point.
I think Shades of Tolerable works.
I don't feel super strongly about much else. Like everything else is good, but not outstanding.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we've had Dog Smoking a Cigar as a title before on the show.
I would venture a guess, yeah. Back in like episode 35 or something.
Mm-hmm.
A pipe smoking dog.
Gaslighting or catfishing is good, but also very, very dark, which I would prefer to stay away from right now.
Yeah. It's not as super punchy.
Nicholas MacGuffin.
That one's okay.
Also, can we just give some props here to I want to cancel JRPGs coming from the mouth of a man who runs a show about RPGs?
Sometimes they're just so bad you gotta just throw them all out.
Okay.
Sometimes. I'm okay with Shades of Tolerable. I can tolerate it.
That's fine. It's
Hey,
tolerable.
Tolerable.
All right, I'll circle it. Let me know when you guys are ready.
I'm ready.
I'm good.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 667 for August 3rd, 2020. Shades of Tolerable.
Just don't live with me.
Just please put him out of his misery.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us live yet again. And I hope we'll see you all here next week. Bye.
Bye, boy.
Later.
And we can stop recording.